In this video, we're going to learn some text effects. Alright, so we're using again the same source code of the div and span. So first, we're going to populate both the Facebook and the Apple divs with some text. So we want only text, so no paragraphs and no spans. Okay, so let's just copy paste. Okay, we're gonna move to the Apple div in a bit once we are done with the Facebook one. So now, as we can see, the text in the Facebook div is overflowing, and we're gonna play a little bit with a few text effects so that we can understand how we can control how our text is displayed inside the div or outside the div. So the first property we're gonna use here is the overflow property. So we want this overflowing text to disappear. So the this property needs to be set to hidden, and now we don't see any text overflow. Okay. Also, we mentioned that the text is wrapped by default. Okay. So inside the div. And if we don't want that, there is a property which is the white space property, and we can set that to no wrap, and basically the text now is not wrapped anymore. Okay. All right. So another useful property we can use here is to make this broken word disappear. So we want to show the user that we've got some text following using some dots in there. So the property we're going to be using here is text overflow, and we can set that to ellipsis, and now we don't see that next word anymore. So we only see those dots telling us that there is still text following. And if we want to see what's happening there, we can just change the width of the window, and we can see some more text. All right. Now let's move to the Apple div. But before we do that, let's add another property. So now, if we want to make the overflow visible when we hover over the div, how are we going to do that? So we're going to need to set a new style for the blue box class. So we're going to say dot blue box class colon and then hover. So we're telling the browser, so if the user hovers on the blue box class, then change the overflow to visible. Okay. So now if we hover on the Facebook div, all the overflow becomes visible, but due to the no wrap property, we've still not seen this property very well, but now it's pretty clear that when we hover on the Facebook div, the overflowing text appears. Okay. All right, so now let's move to the Apple div, and this time, okay, let's populate the Apple div with some text. But before we do that, we're going to change the width. So rather than having an auto width, we want a limited width. Let's go for 400 pixels, for instance. And now let's add some text to the Apple div. Okay, and let's have a word, a long word. Okay, let's have long apple. And let's have another long word. This time let's make it really long. Okay. So what's happening here? So we can see that the text is overflowing. Okay. This time we're going to use some other properties to control how text is displayed. So the first one is going to be the word break. And we're going to use this property to be able to break the line even between two letters. Okay. So the reason why we had a line break there is because this word is too long, but we couldn't break it. But now we're going to set this property of word break to break all. And now we can see that this word is broken. So you can see that it's broken between the letter L and the letter E. All right. If we don't want to break words, so you can just set it to keep all. And now we're not breaking, we don't have any line breaks between two letters. Okay, so let's get rid of these properties for now, and let's try something else. So now, if we look at this long word here, we want to find a way to wrap this word and break it. So the property we're going to need for that is going to be word wrap, and this time we want to break the word, so we're going to say break word. So what we've seen here, first of all, we're wrapping this word, and also the word is not overflowing anymore. So it gets broken there between two letters. Okay. And also we can set the overflow to hidden, just to avoid any text overflowing of the box.